Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Chai with Startup CEOs. Today, I'm joined by Maria Suárez. Maria, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited to be here.
Amazing. So just to give everyone a bit of a background about what Maria is up to, she's building a healthcare e-learning platform for Africa, essentially. And I thought it was like a phenomenal mission. And also it's just that we both were on the same accelerator program at LSE. And it was really nice to see how you guys progressed over that 15-week kind of course. And, you got backed by UNICEF and like the European Social Fund. So that's phenomenal. Tell us a little bit more about what LEAP does. And also, I apologize for the background noise if there is any in advance.
No problem. Well, thank you so much again. And yes, so LEAP is a healthcare e-learning platform for Africa, as you said. And what we do is we collaborate with universities from all over the world and other types of institutions to provide education to African students that is quality but also affordable. And the reason why we do this is because we realize that capacity building in healthcare specifically is a big challenge right now in the African continent. And we wanted to do something about it through online education. And yeah, we are a social startup. So the SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals, for those who might not know about it, they're super important to us. So we align with number 3 and number 4, which are good health and quality education. And yeah, we are doing everything we can through our platform that is launching very soon to take down those barriers and have students from all over the continent receive a healthcare education.
Amazing. So that's really cool. I think that what you said about capacity building is so true. And like, how do you do things at scale, right? Like, I'm sure there are smaller efforts locally, but the problem is like you can't do it across the continent. And I think the gap that you guys are trying to bridge is phenomenal in that sense. So, tell us, before I forget though, like I think One Young World is a phenomenal organization in the space. You should check them out. I don't know if you already have. They tackle sort of UN SDGs, and they have a $15,000 grant of sorts that goes with like a particular company. So there's a Credit Suisse for SDG number 3, and they provide mentorship and funding. So it'd be like pretty nice to sort of catch up with them. Mm-hmm. I would have a look at that. But tell me about like the origin story of Maria and Frida sort of like meeting together, and how did that happen, and what your lives looked like before this, right?
Yeah, so for everybody watching, Frida is LEAP's co-founder. She is an incredible woman with an incredible background in healthcare. And basically, we were friends here in Berlin. We were based in Berlin, and we became friends. And a while after, we were all we were both of us kind of burned out with our jobs. And we wanted to do something, so I took a course with in entrepreneurship in emerging economies, and I started having ideas, and I realized how much of an institutional void healthcare education can be in some African countries. And because Frida's African, right away I mentioned this to her, and her story is really, really impactful. Actually, I won't get into it because this is her story after all. But basically when I told her about this, she right away connected with the idea, and together we came up with what LEAP is today. So yeah, it is really close to our heart. And we plan to really making an impact with this through, like I said earlier, affordable healthcare education for everyone.
So in the context of that, right, like affordable healthcare education, the second you say something like affordable, or you say like education, people are always wondering who's paying for the platform, and like, that kind of stuff, especially in Africa. Obviously, the market has slightly lower disposable incomes when you compare to a country like Germany or like a city like Berlin. How did you sort of think about that? Like, when you were initially thinking, okay, who's going to pay for it? What were the initial thoughts that went into your mind?
Yeah. So, well, first of all, Africa is obviously massive. There are so many countries in there, and every single country has their own willingness to pay of the students or of the users in general. So, we did a lot of research obviously, regarding this topic. And we realized that, these massive e-learning platforms out there, they actually have millions of African students paying for this education that we think is a little bit too expensive. So basically what we are doing is negotiating below market price with all of these universities that we are working with so that the students can afford it. Now, initially, because we are at such an early stage, initially we are launching with micro-credentials. These are short courses that are very, very affordable so that the student himself or herself can afford it. But eventually, of course, we would like to partner with, for example, governments so that they can pay for their citizens' education with us. Or, with entire, let's say, hospitals that maybe want their employees to upskill, etc. So, this is what we're starting at the moment. And we also understand that there's still people that cannot afford the affordable education. So a big goal for us is to eventually have or provide scholarships for those students that cannot afford our courses. And we already gave our first scholarship to someone. It's not much because these courses are relatively cheap, but this was a big milestone for us and something that we really wanted to do. So we're very happy, and we hope that eventually we can give scholarships to thousands of students and educate millions of them.
Amazing. I think it's so refreshing to hear that you said that a milestone of yours was to give a scholarship to someone as opposed to the usual. We're looking for a 60 to 70% retention on the platform and like all of these kind of things. I mean, I'm sure you have those too, but at the same time, it's really nice to hear this piece. So you're working with, let's get into the sort of nitty-gritties of healthcare education, right? So what is it exactly that you're teaching these people that, to the extent that they can go and work in the healthcare systems in Africa?
Yeah, so this is a question that we get a lot because obviously healthcare education is so broad, right? It could be anything. So we are thinking of two types of students. We have the healthcare workers, the people that already work in the healthcare sector, and what we call non-healthcare workers, which are those people that are thinking into maybe getting into the workforce or, they're just interested in healthcare in general. So for the first group, we think that the best is micro-credentials. So these short courses that can help them discover a new topic. For example, with the COVID pandemic, now many doctors and many nurses want to study about it. So this is something that we want to provide them with so that they can upskill. And then for the non-healthcare workers, eventually, not right away because it's out of our capability right now. So hopefully in a couple of months, we can start including professional certificates. So these are longer programs that allow a student to start from scratch their career. They take a certificate of maximum a year, and with that, they can already start working in the healthcare workforce. The thing is that one of our USPs, or what we want our USP to be, one of them, is to actually build a bridge towards employment. And the reason for this is that, while we really appreciate the work that other major e-learning platforms have done for us because they have opened the path for platforms like ours, this is kind of a, get educated here and then, good luck, which is great, but we want to take it a step further. So this is why we are already establishing partnerships with healthcare institutions, so that we can hopefully provide our students with, either internships or jobs in the future. But we're still working on it. So it's a dream for now.
Yeah, no, I think it's like, it sounds to me like it's a crazy logistical nightmare. Like the whole thing is like, in the context of like, just when you said negotiating with governments, negotiating with healthcare institutions, I've dealt with them like in the past in the context of several like types of organizations. And I would say that convincing people to sort of try something new is possibly one of the hardest things that you can do. So you must be really good at your sales. So I think it's really difficult to sort of break that initial barrier.
Absolutely.
So you work, and you work with the sort of UNICEF and like ESF. And so what does that look like for you? And what is the real value that they bring to the table in the context of what you're doing?
Yes. So when we started getting these partnerships, we could not believe it because it started really like a small dream, and then it started scaling a lot. And the first thing that we got was the support of the European Social Funds. And that is through a grant through one of the universities that we partner with here in Berlin. And basically we get a grant where Frida and I get to work full time on this. So that was absolutely incredible and allowed us to explore the idea even more. And then after that, we started getting into programs, one of them being the UNICEF Startup Lab in collaboration with MEST, which is part of Meltwater. And this has helped us a lot because it's based in Ghana. So it has helped us a lot with kind of the understanding better the local healthcare needs. And they also bring a lot of professionals to the table that can give you really good advice. Or for example, right now they're helping us with our offline PR campaign, right? Because we're not there. So that's super helpful. And then, the LSE program, which you were in as well, which was really, really nice as well and helped a lot, specifically with strategy. It was really nice. So we're very thankful for all of these programs that we're getting into.
That's so cool. Who's your coach, by the way?
It's Tim.
Oh, okay.
Who's yours?
Shout out to Tim, if you're watching.
Hi, Tim.
Mine is Adam.
Adam helped us a lot, actually. Hi, Adam, as well.
Yeah.
Yes, he helped a lot. This guy is very knowledgeable.
Yeah. Adam, this guy is very knowledgeable. You heard it here first.
Yes.
I hope Adam watches it. I think he should.
We will send it to him. We will force him to watch it.
We send it to that whole accelerator GC. But coming back to that point, right? Like on the sort of social science university and like the GAP program, which is LSE's accelerator program. For those of you that don't know.
I'm so sorry.
No worries. She's a busy lady. This happens.
Yes. Sorry for that. Please go ahead. No, of course. So, in the context of a social science university and like what it has to offer, what do you feel like was kind of the value that the accelerator brought for you? Obviously, you mentioned strategy. To like, what kind of strategy is it that they were sort of supporting with, and like, do you think that you were able to make the most of like that accelerator program? Yeah, so because we are in several programs, obviously we can compare at this point, and I feel like one of the things that you're asking specifically about the LSE program, the GAP program, right? Okay. So,
and I mean, if the university, I think on the website I mentioned they also partnered up with the university too. So like, if there's any relation there that you can bring in, that would be great as well.
Yeah. So we came to the realization that sprints is the most effective thing for us because it's really tailored to your needs and what some accelerators do, which is also great for when you're really, really early stage, is kind of explain everything from the basics, to everybody. But we certainly like it more when there's a sprint system going on, and then you can tell them, hey, we have issues with marketing, for example. So in the beginning, we were trying to see how to not have that empty room effect, for example, so that when we launch now in a couple of weeks, we will have leads. And then we were talking to Tim, and he was explaining to us which things maybe, we should be doing. And actually, it has been working out because we already have over 700 students that have signed up, which is crazy. There were some other things. For example, with Adam, we were talking more about the whole fundraising topic, which is, huge as first-time founders, because sure, in my work experience, I have raised money and looked for sponsors and done sales and whatnot, but it's different when you're a founder and you have to go through VCs and business angels and term sheets and all of this, right? So it helped us for the very specific questions that we had, and we're super happy with the outcome. I don't know if that answered your question.
No, definitely. Like, I think I was just wondering in the context of like, it's obviously like a social science university, and like, you know, a lot of people often think that as a result of that lack of mesh between the technical and the non-technical, that it might not be as useful. But like you said, you know, with the coaches that we had and stuff, it was definitely really helpful.
Yes.
To kind of get their input and everything that we were doing. It's so nice. What's the hack that Tim gave you to get up to 700 signups? I gotta get in on that.
He didn't give us that advice specifically, but he did say like,
come on, Tim.
No, but I will give you the advice. Obviously, this depends on your market, because online marketing in the African countries that we're doing it is super cheap. So we're paying like around 50 cents per lead, which is insane. But yeah, he advised with, you know, set up a campaign and target or use different target groups, and then from these target groups also try to segment them. And you should also do, you know, some offline PR and all of this. So we were kind of looking at all of the angles of what a marketing strategy should look like. So yeah, we can gladly talk about these campaigns later if you want, and how to set them up.
Yeah, definitely. Confidential talks about how to get more people into crypto. I would love that. But I guess, you know, in the context of not being in Africa at the moment, you're in Berlin, right? So do you feel disadvantaged in any way? Or like, you know, obviously you're working with local partners, and working remotely is like the thing of the present and the future, I guess. So is it working well? And like, what are sort of the areas that you see for improvement in that process?
Yeah, it's definitely a challenge because although, you know, Frida she's very well versed in the pressing healthcare needs in the continent. But like you said, it's hard when it comes to partnerships and communication with on the ground partners. So we are working with people from all over the world remotely. We have in our team is growing very rapidly, luckily. And we have people in Ecuador, we have people in Ghana, we have people in Canada, in the US, right? So the whole remote thing is working really well, but we still need that kind of on the ground component. And this is something that we are already working on. I can't, you know, disclose much, but we are already working on having something on the ground and hiring people on the ground, because at the end of the day, we also care about employment, like I said. So it would be super nice if we can hire, you know, a bunch of people over there, that have the best knowledge, right? Because they're better experts than me in that topic and what's going on in their country. So yeah.
Right. No, absolutely. And sort of, you know, on the point of sort of hiring a global team, first of all, congrats, like that you have so many people on board. Like, that's insane. Like, it's not easy to pull that off. And like, tell me about sort of the things that you look for when you're hiring someone remotely, I guess, because you can't really see them. You've never really experienced sort of like work with them before or anything like that. So how do you look at hiring someone remotely right now?
Yeah, so I was actually watching your interview with, I'm not too sure of the name of the startup, actually, I'm sorry, but...
you watched my show?
Yes, of course, big fan. But I think it was the last one that you had, and she was talking...
Was it Eve?
Possibly, yeah. And she was talking about how working with people that you already know is way easier. And I'm gonna kind of piggyback off that, because so far we have people in the team that either are, you know, friends of us or acquaintances of us, or people who have reached out to us to, you know, simply help out, or people that have been connected to us through the accelerator programs that we're in. So that's definitely helpful, because you don't really start that relationship from scratch entirely, but there's already kind of like a base of trust a little bit there already, because they know someone you know or whatever, right? So that's kind of how we're doing it right now. But obviously at one point this is going to have to change, and we will need, you know, experts that might not be in our network. So for that, we really are putting together what I hope is a good, you know, HR process. we're doing what we can, because neither Frida nor I are our HR experts, but we are doing what we can. And I think that it's very important to meet the person for who they are and not so much for what they do in their career, but really ask questions about themselves and what are their boundaries and how they like to work, and who they really are as a person. And we're also sorry to interrupt. It's just the accelerator just came up to my mind like in that moment. I don't know if you remember, I think it was Adam for us who sort of said like, do this personality test of sorts and like kind of see like what is the best way that you guys work with each other and things like that, based on like whether you're a certain type. I forgot what the name of the test is called, but like essentially it was just such a good indicator for us on the fact that some people are more introverted or some are more extroverted, and like what is the different ways that people like to work. I think it definitely experience. So important. And you have to kind of implement that from the beginning. And Frida and I, when we realized that we were going to be business partners after being friends, we kind of sat down and we had a talk about emotional intelligence and what are our boundaries and what are our values, and which are no-goes for us, and how we want to manage people and all of this. And these conversations are so important. This will build the base of everything. And it's been like over a year now where we've been, working on LEAP together, and we have not had any problems. And I think it's thanks to those conversations that we have all the time. And so it's important that you also do this with your team members.
Co-founder. Yeah, definitely. I think I completely agree. So but the way me and my co-founder have been sort of like working on different projects, I guess, for the past, I want to say it's rounding up close to a year now. And also in the same boat, I think what we try to do as often as possible is, be as honest about sort of personal timelines and how they align with like the business timelines, and like whether it's the right fit for like what you're doing right now. So if it is that, your priority is focus on like university or whatever it is, then like you should probably be focusing more on that rather than, because like we got to know what's best for the business and like got to push that forward, right? So we always have those very serious conversations, and I've known her since high school, so that really helps. And now I've graduated and she's in her final year, just a few months left, and so it's pretty cool in that sense. With the other members of my team, like you mentioned, there's always some point of reference, some point like sort of a mutual friend at least that introduces the person. So like that's been the story with us as well, I would say. That's probably the best way to do it in the early days, because it's not the easiest to hire someone you don't really know at all and stuff.
It sounds like it's going well for you guys as well. I'm very happy to hear. Yes.
Obviously, always going so. It's I would say that we are about 5 to 6 weeks away from our beta, so that's pretty encouraging for us. And like, it's been really well. We've been working on this idea for about the past 4 to 5 months, so we are pretty happy with the progress and kind of like the different pivots that we've considered, and like all of that stuff. Our number one goal is to kind of invalidate like the idea, so that we know that this is the absolute idea that we should be working on. Otherwise, we don't want to be wasting time on it. So the one thing that we do know is that we want to work together and that we want to make something. So when we found the kind of like the right niche and did the customer discovery, which was also super useful through the accelerator, we were really happy to kind of stumble upon this and like, really work on it. We just applied to YC as well, so that's pretty exciting.
Oh, I really hope that you get it. Great accelerator.
Yeah, fingers crossed. It'd be great for the entire LSE ecosystem, I think, as an overall. What do you think is like your dream advisor like table, or like, who do you want to bring on as an advisor that you currently don't already have?
To be quite frank with you, we kind of landed some very, very good advisors that I cannot talk also too much about, but I'm so sorry, barely giving you anything.
No, it's fine.
Giving you the bare minimum. No, but
the lesser you can talk about them, the more important they probably are. So I completely understand that.
Yes, we're so happy to have these people on board, because they are, what I can say is that they're incredible experts in EdTech and e-learning platforms. So that's great. And apart from that, of course, we would like to have advisors in every different area that we think is relevant for LEAP. So that being, healthcare and education and technology and all of these areas where we would possibly need help. And, in that board, apart from the advisors, we will, of course, have eventually investors. So we are already in the fundraising process. And, it's very difficult because you really have to look for investors that are specifically in your market and that have a lot of knowledge in what you're doing, because it's very hard as an early stage founder to get money thrown at you and say yes, but you have to stand your ground and think, okay, what will be the best VC or angel investor for me in the next 10 years, right? I don't want somebody that, cannot help me with advice or that cannot help me with contacts or, whatever. So this is also a little bit of advice, like stand your ground, talk to people that you think will bring something really, really good for you to the table and to your board, and then fill that board with those people.
Yeah, I think this is what happens when, so normally when you talk to very early founders, right? Like they would just take money from just about anyone. But the stage that we both are at, I feel like, is the one where you sort of built out the platform and you can see that there is interest in what you're doing. And as a result, you have the leverage to say that I want the people on the cap table that I really, really want, as opposed to just saying anyone that'll give me money, I'll take it from them, So I think that's leverage. So it's really important as well, like you said, to target that particular niche. They should be able to bring smart capital, not just money.
Absolutely.
So I think it really makes a difference and unlocking doors. Yeah. So I guess a couple of last questions for you. What's one piece of advice that you give to any EdTech founder starting out in the space today? What should they be doing?
To EdTech founders specifically, I feel like there's a lot of competition out there when it comes to EdTech platforms, and there's also, open source platforms that you can take and work on them and create your own, platform. So what I would say is do your research, because it's really easy to fall into confirmation bias. Every founder likes their idea. Every founder thinks that their idea is bomb, but you really need to talk to experts, do research as much as you can and as much as you can afford. And once you see that model works, that's when you should start kind of investing on it and building on it. And specifically in EdTech, because there's so much out there, there's literally EdTech platforms for everything. So find something that people still don't have and do research on that and see how you can improve what there is out there and then build that. So that's the main.
No, I feel like the thing is that people strive for incremental difference and rather than exponential differences. So when you think that a space is crowded, I think that it's important to sort of think how you can flip the industry on its head and kind of do something totally wacky. But at the same time, like you said, validate it in a sense. It's really important to know the beachhead that you're picking, the niche that you're picking. So yeah, very, very valid point there for all the EdTech founders that are tuned in. And I guess one final question would be, what would sort of the next few months for LEAP look like, and how can we best support you as sort of my millions of followers who are watching this? How can they help you?
I love talking to celebrities like you. For LEAP, like I said earlier, I mean, we are quite early stage, so we can only dream, right? But we do have short, medium, and long-term goals, very specific goals for those 3 timelines. And what will be happening soon is we're launching the platform. So basically, share everything you can on social media, talk about us, recommend us, because once we launch, we can actually start to understand the students, because right now, we have talked to many users, but they're not really students yet. So that's when we really get to optimize our platform and our product and our customer service and even our values or our goals, right? So that's kind of what we're doing next. But I hope that at one point we can become Africa's largest healthcare e-learning platform, educate millions of students, even hopefully translate the platform at one point to other major African languages such as Swahili, French, Arabic, etc. So yeah, we have big goals, but it needs to be, step by step and with a good team.
Absolutely.
Trust your experts, and yeah, things will happen. Magic will happen, hopefully.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's important. Trust your experts and trust your instincts as well. I would say I would just piggyback
without confirmation bias. Trust your instincts, but then check them.
Sometimes I don't know. Like, it's a very weird one. Sometimes I think that you have to kind of introduce the hypothesis and then sort of see if, like, people didn't know they needed a lot of things that they have today, but now they really need it. So the question is, like, in that sense, how do you kind of weigh up confirmation bias with the thing that you're trying to introduce to the market, or whether it's your own conviction that's like affecting all of that. So it's very interesting on that front.
Very good point.
But yeah.
Because if you listen to everybody that says no, right, then things wouldn't get done.
Then why are you the founder?
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
So also don't do that.
Yeah, you can be another, you can just be an analyst of the industry, that, if you're just listening to everybody else. But I definitely agree that there's a balance that you need to strike between the two. But thank you so much, Maria, for your time. I know, you're still getting better from all of the hectic hours and all the sort of flu and stuff like that.
Thank you.
Please get well soon.
Yeah.
And thank you so much for taking the time.
I hope that it was good enough, actually, for your millions of people watching. The plan wasn't that I was here. Frida's kind of the face of LEAP, and she's the perfect person to talk about healthcare and all this stuff. So the plan was that she was here, but it ended up being me. This is what you get, people. But I hope that you liked it. I enjoyed it a lot. Thank you so much, Joel, for having us, and I hope to keep in touch.
Of course. Yeah, absolutely. And Frida, thank you so much for also pushing Maria to sort of I guess take the spotlight on this instance. And we really think that I think the way I see it is both of you are phenomenal, and what your mission is. It's just fantastic.
Thank you so much.
I would say that I say Godspeed, or what, may the force be with you. I don't know.
Yes, I like that one.
But yeah, may the force be with you. Cool. But thank you so much, everyone, for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Thank you, Maria.
Thank you so much, Joel.